good evening everybody, welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here, your commentator, alongside me, TK, who is going to be rounding off the season with me.
Down the inside,
absolutely impossible scene.
This is for the win between these two.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
He needs to get it done now.
Blakey will dive to the inside.
We'll go bust. We got our elbows out.
Ronnar takes the lead.
Because here comes Alfie Butcher.
Can't really complain with that one.
It's not going to be easy. The pressure is on, of course.
Jarno Watmere is your champion.
I'm doing well. How are you, Ashton? Oh yes, you say this is the longest track. Did you know it used to be much, much longer? It used to be 15 kilometers before the Second World War, and the lap record was 5 minutes and 4.1 set by Herman Lang in a Mercedes-Benz W125 in the 1937 Belgian Grand Prix. There you go. Yeah. Let's find out, shall we? 18 minutes of qualifying around this 7-kilometer track, so they're going to have to use their time wisely, being it the longest track. Oh, and just saw two cars pretty much ghost into each other. That's a great start.
Well,
Yes,
I'm sorry to interrupt. Sorry for the people on the stream, Benjamin, on the chat. Thank you for reminding me. I don't know why that was not activated, but hello, my name's Ashton Britt. Welcome to the stream, F4 for PSGL. Joined by Logan, which obviously you heard, but you didn't hear me. Apologies for that, and thank you for reminding me. But we are now able to go to the race. Thank you for the chat. This is my first stream of the season, so there will be some sort of mistakes. But I always appreciate people who are watching to note them out so we can get them fixed. But we are now about to head into the 16 minutes, 17 minutes of qualifying. And Logan, what do you think pole position will be, or what time, sorry?
Well, after seeing the disappointment that was the real qualifying, as we see cars going off, that's the real qualifying in the real F1, we could probably be seeing the timer much longer than last season, of course, because this being a new set of cars, new set of regulations, hopefully in the minute 40s still, minute 43, 44, but it is, of course, the fastest time that will get that. This track has changed a lot before 2007, the bus stop especially. It used to be a swift double chicane. Now it's a slow double hairpin. We got all the cars coming around. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say now. I believe it was... Did we get the standings up? Yeah.
Yes, we did, yeah. It's being led by Marcel at the current time as Alexi Cavero is about to go and start his first flying laps, the Williams driver. What can he do in this session as he goes to start his lap? He goes to the track as much as he can, coming to the first turn. I know some drivers like to go first gear here for some extra rotation. Will he do the same today? He'll be the first driver to go and set a benchmark for these times. Obviously, coming up to the Kemmel Straight, which is I believe, 1 kilometers long. So it's a pretty decent distance coming up to that final turn. But also with the battery, this is where the drivers will mainly be using their batteries, and also where some of the main overtaking opportunities will come. Obviously, we have some drivers who like to make those brave moves, maybe in the second sector, catch some drivers out. But we shall see that later in the race. For now, a 30.8 is what I just think I saw for Alexi Cavero. So he is already on a roll to set a good lap time. If I were to predict the time at the top of the board, I think it was possibly a mid to low 43. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's what I would say as well. As you see the car losing, I was seeing the car losing a lot of speed through Eau Rouge. That's the problem with the more downforce these cars have on Andrusov's view. And then he seemingly lifts and coasts through Lake Holm, and that's of course the drawback with the new energy system. Or some purists say that it's not F1. Well, unfortunately, we all have to roll with the punches. So we'll take it as it is. It's still Formula 1. It's still the winning formula that wins the race. Or in this case, the session coming through Pruon is Andrusov. And well, it says he's first, but of course no one's set a time yet. I think it's done that at random. But we've got our first cars coming through.
It'll be Alexi Cavero crosses the line.
Yes.
A 43.9. Then it is going to be the other Mercedes that I just about missed. Next up is Lucas coming through the bus stop chicane. What can he do as he's benchmarked lap? Marcel Paps goes ahead of a 43.4, your championship leader, staying ahead of the Red Bull driver just for now. We then have Denis Kamensky coming to cross the line. He goes provisional pole by just under a 10th from Marcel, sorry for the mispronunciation there. Next up is... Ooh, I believe
Don't
it's
worry,
one of the Audis.
I get pronunciations wrong all the time.
Yeah, obviously as
I thought you were Pepsi.
time comes on, I will try and learn how to pronounce these names. So forgive me if I get it wrong for now. Neo Steins goes P10, 43.8. So getting pretty close from P3 down to those bottom parts of the grid. We then have a Ferrari of D'Amico, I believe is how you pronounce it, sorry. He's coming to the line now.
Landa goes fifth, sorry.
43.8, so getting pretty tight. Dennis still at the top of that grid. We do have I think that's a Cadillac. No, he's on a lap, so we'll stay on board with him. Has got a bit of traffic ahead of him. 3 drivers yet to set a lap time. I think Simone in the Williams is going to be the next person to set a valid lap. Had a bit of a snap coming out of that turn. Goes wide, somehow doesn't invalidate it. But I imagine he'll be going slow to go again, since that would probably ruin his lap. Next up is Suede in the Haas. Sorry, we don't have any keybinds for P22 or P21, so we have to go on board with them manually.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I did see someone, I'm not going to mention, had a stream deck which lets them go to P21 and 22. So I could look into that, as Simone, who was on a lap, is invalidated.
Yes, Alex is about to finish his lap. Bunch of traffic ahead of him. Should be clean air to the line though. What would it be for the Cadillac driver? The newest team on the grid, P6, just ahead of his teammate by 1 millisecond. So getting pretty close between the two American teammates. Well, not from America, but the American car, sorry.
I don't know if there are any Americans in PSGL. Shout out if you're American and you drive in PSGL. We do have some commentators, of course, from the US, but I haven't honestly seen a lot of drivers. And to be fair, it can be quite difficult because, of course, that's like 12 if you're in California, or 3 if you're in the, as Swede is crossing the line, by the way, 3 if you're in, say, New York. Swede goes 15th. 143.871, almost half a second down on Kamensky.
Yeah, so plenty of time to find in his lap. Obviously, it's the first lap. Nerves could be kicking in. But also, this is one of the tracks where the times are going to be so close. And also, when it comes to the battery management as well, I think that's going to play a very key factor in qualifying. Not everyone agrees with that way of qualifying. However, it is the way it is going to be from now on, and you have to try and learn and adapt to it. So far, Dennis Kamenski, Marcel, and Lucas at that top 3 spot. Mark in the V-Carb, actually. Sorry, we didn't mention this. P4 with the exact same time as Lucas. However, because he said it later on in the session, he sits P4 instead of P3.
Yeah. That's only happened twice when it comes to, say, pole position in the real Formula 1. Of course, the 1997 European Grand Prix, the final race of season, 3 drivers, Villeneuve, Schumacher and Frentzen, set 1:21.072 around Jerez. But Villeneuve set it first, so he got pole, and he, of course, went on to win an infamous race. No, he didn't win the race, but he won the title, finishing 3rd in the race against the, of course, Schumacher. And then, of course, 2024 was when George Russell and Max Verstappen set the same time, but of course Russell said first he got pole position, and I believe he did go on to win the race. No, he didn't win the race. It was Verstappen, I believe. It was the rain that caused havoc. Russell won next year though.
Yeah, yes, he did indeed, as he's got a pretty quick car. Obviously, Dennis in the Mercedes, just as Russell. Can he take that top spot this time round? So far, he is sitting there. However, with 8 minutes left to go and all these drivers eager to get out of the pit, I doubt he'll be there for very much longer. But until then, he is coming up to the line to try and set his 2nd lap in this qualifying session.
So here he goes. First out. First on the leaderboard. To go and set his lap early this time. Going as wide as he can to get the best exit he can. Deploys the battery, and down he comes, straight mode activated. Begins his lap heading into the sharpless source, not too far away from the timing beam. And then the long run down to Eau Rouge, and yes, that's Ravion actually. Races right up to it, he'll lose quite a bit of speed here. And then it will get all that speed back with the street mode turned on. He's going to blast down the Kemmel Straight, past the general admission grandstands. The battery, as you can see, it's peaked up at 330 and it's went to about 320, and then he brakes into Lake Holm. Gets all that battery back with the harvesting. I shouldn't actually say what the battery percentage is, but he did regain some. And he'll regain more coming out of the hairpin and then no name.
Yeah, is he
down towards Pouon. And oh dear, someone has left the session. We don't like to see that. Always devastating when that happens. Hopefully he can get in soon and set a time. That was Spezzi's in 14th.
Yes, I think he's one of the drivers that would really like to do well this time round. Obviously, last time in China, you had a different commentator from us. However, I was watching, and Spezzi did have an unfortunate retirement, which if you was watching last week, you would have been able to see. So hopefully he can bounce back from that crash and try and get some good points for his team today. Got Dennis Kaminsky coming up to the bus stop. So far, it looks like a pretty decent lap from the Mercedes driver. Does have his teammate just a bit behind. He goes even quicker by just a few hundredths of a second. What can his teammate do? He's up in his time. Good enough for P5, a 10th of an improvement. We got some McLarens next. Ken Fisher, he improves by 73 milliseconds to get himself into the top 10. What about his teammate? Alessandro Finn jumps up to P13 with a 43.7. These times are getting closer and closer. Next is I believe, one of the Red Bulls. We go on board with Lucas as he crosses the line, misses out by just very much half a 10th for 43.2. His teammate, however, Ryan Jacobs, he comes into the pits after invalidating. What about the sister team? The sister team of the V-Carbs got up to P4. We just about missed the end. I'm sorry for that one. What about D'Amico in the Ferrari? He sat down in P20 right now. Can he jump anywhere else? Yes, he can. P11 for him, 43.6 as Neo Steins gets a 43.2, jumps ahead of Dennis Kaminsky as Marcel Pabst has also set a lap just before that as well and gets ahead. So Dennis now one final run. Can he try and keep that provisional pole position at the end of his final run, which will come in the next few minutes? For now, I believe we have a... Is that a Cadillac? We can't really tell the difference between the logos, if I was to be completely honest. They look pretty similar.
Yeah, they're pretty small.
Yes, it is Alex.
Yeah. So Alex in 11th, coming across the line and improved to 7th, just a quarter of a second, and then give or take a few thousandths behind Neil Steins in the Audi. Yeah, and Neo and Marcel pretty much seemingly set their time at the same time. And Dennis Kamensky just, it's basically losing 2 positions with 1 stone. And he's still down in 3rd though, but still got 1 more lap to set his best time and try and get to the top, perhaps the championship leader by a pretty wide margin after just 2 rounds. 13 points, 29 to the 16 of Dennis. And he's going to try and extend that tonight. Of course, Dennis was last week's winner in China, despite Marcel getting the pole and fastest lap. Just missing out there. So, see how it goes for them tonight.
I believe everyone is coming into the pits to attempt to get those new tyres on and climb any more positions. The Ferrari is back into the pits, and that will be everyone else, I think. I don't think Alex is on a lap. No, he's on his out lap. However, saying that, we got Suede, who just left the pits. 3-minute 40 left to go. He's the first one out to go and set a final time. Obviously sat on a 43.871. So the smallest of improvements can jump him up quite a few positions. But do you think this might be a bit too eager, or do you think this could work out perfectly based on when everyone else comes out of the pit?
Going early, I mean, he has got the clear track, but when he does come round, everyone who just left the pits will still be on their outlap, so that still might be a bit of an issue, especially with everyone coming out. It's gonna have to hope that nobody gets in the way as would have liked, but he looks like he is going to start his lap. He has to start his lap, as we know, before the clock hits 0 and the checkered flag comes out. Otherwise, he will not be able to set a lap. You are allowed, obviously, to set your time and cross the line, finishing the lap after the checkered flag's fallen. You just have to cross the line before it.
Yeah, as he is, Zuaid has got a sector and a half to go, and the drivers have started to leave the pits. So he might just about be able to get away with this with no traffic ahead of him. However, when it comes to getting the most grip out of the session, he might have a disadvantage, as he will be the first one to set those final laps. However, what can he do? Sat in P20. How many places can he jump by the end of these 2 minutes and 3 seconds? We shall see.
Shout out to Connor, Big C in the chat, who's cheering on Ryan Jacobs, of course, our reigning season 42 PCF4 champion. He's staying in this division for now. Of course, he actually won it without winning a single race, because some of the drivers who did win were promoted to the division higher than that. So, pretty fun fact, it is possible with the short season to win a season without winning. It nearly happened in the real world with Keke Rosberg in 1982.
Yep, it does show what consistency can reward towards the end of the season, especially if you stay patient. Obviously, if something happens, everyone wants to sort of retire, since they don't really like racing on their own, which everyone sort of understands. But patience is the key, and that is what happened for Ryan Jacobs last season, and that's what got him his championship. What can he do today? Currently sat in P13, looking to improve on his time. But for now, Suede sat P20. He is on his lap, looking to set his final run. 50 seconds on the board as all the drivers line up towards the bus stop chicane to set their final laps. It is going to be a pretty intense final 40 seconds. Hopefully I can keep on track with the drivers that are about to finish their laps. But for Suede, it is looking pretty decent for him. as actually he comes towards the end of Sector 2. He's almost 2 tenths up on his time, so he'll be looking to jump up a few places. However, can he keep that in these final 20 seconds? Maybe a bit longer, because obviously they only got 20 seconds to cross the line, but then 2 minutes to finish their lap. But for now, he comes towards the final few corners, the bus stop chicane, which can be a pretty difficult corner when it comes to lockups. But for now, Suede seems to be doing pretty fine as he crosses the line, jumps up to P16 with a 43.6. And for now, that's where he will be starting. However, there are more drivers on a lap. We have the V-carb of Jonas down in P19. He's 75 milliseconds up in his time on the exit of Sector 2. However, if his battery management was right this time round, he could jump up quite a few places. Currently sat on a 43.8.
Yeah, so time is up, of course, in the session. You see all the drivers pretty spread out, trying to get some room to make sure they've got some clean air, setting their lap. Drivers coming across the line now. Equestria's crossed the line. He's only 18th. Jonas Orpel's only 12th. I do believe Finn has pitted, yes. Wolfgram goes up to 8th. The other Aston Martin about to cross the line now. That's Pabst. He has set the pole time, but no, Androsov's fired back and has set a 1:43.11. He is nearly 1.5 tenths faster. DeMichael cannot set a faster time. Here comes, I believe that is Kazella. He can't go any faster. Where's Neo Steins and Demis Kaminsky? They're just coming around Blanchimont. Lucas is trying to set a time faster. Lamlin's just gone on ahead of him, but can he go back ahead? No, he cannot. He improves, but not by enough. How about Kaminsky? Can he get back on pole? No, he can't. Neil Steins, he can't do it either. So it looks like Androsov's going to nick pole position right under the skin of Marcel Pabst.
Yeah, Zetini, I think I pronounced that wrong. So he improves slightly, gets ahead of Ryan Jacobs, who made a mistake on his very final run and flies into the pits. However, Adrian able to take that spot at the very top of a 43.1. Dennis maybe just struggling on his final run, sits in P4. Obviously a great position. However, with this type of track, I think the undercut will be very strong.
Oh yes, the undercut will be very strong. You've got the pit lane is pretty short around here compared to others, because of course you take a hairpin turn and the pit basically ends. It basically starts at the finish line as it usually does, the timing beam, which is like halfway down the straight, and it ends. By the way, there is your grid.
Yeah, so Adrian takes that pole position, followed by Marcel, and then Neo for your top 3. Dennis Kaminsky, who was on provisional pole midway through the session, but he just drops back to P4, unfortunately. We go back to the cameras to wait for the race. Obviously, 22 laps of Spa. It is going to be pretty interesting. All the fights that we could get, especially with these new regulations as well. It's going to be a pretty interesting 22 laps.
Yeah, it will be. As I was saying about the undercut, it is going to be pretty strong about here because it is pretty much shorter than others. The pit lane basically ends with the last garage, which is just before La Source, and then you take a sharp right turn through La Source and you're out of the pits. So undercutting is going to be crucial here for all 22 drivers involved. Well, those who pit earlier, that is. We're just waiting for everyone to get set up. We don't have any issues with the games, so it looks like we will be going through immediately. No restarts here, no formation laps either, because we're going to get straight into the thick of it, the racing, of course. So just stay tuned. We'll be getting on momentarily.
Yeah, we should be getting going around 27, if that's 8:27 if you're in the UK. However, for this next laps, do we think anyone's going to be starting on the alternative strategy? You know, starting on the hards, extending their laps, and then hoping for the best later on in the session? Or do you think it's going to be medium to hard from start to finish?
Well, I think if you lower it down, I think it might be worth a shot going the alternate strategy, but we'll see how everyone plays it. Personally, I'd go hard tires and then medium tires.
Yep.
Or the other way around. But if the virtual safety car does come out, take advantage as you must, because we may not get that chance again. Especially with this being the longest track and one of the shortest pit lanes.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be interesting to see what tyre strats people can do. I think when it comes to tyre degradation, I think it is a bit less harsh around this track, especially on those hards.
Yes.
They could probably go from start to finish if you wasn't wanting to pit, but obviously you have to at least change the dry tyres at least once in a race. However, we'll see if any of the drivers do start on those hards when we do go lights out, as we should be getting going pretty soon. So, any predictions for this race?
Well, let's hope it's a good one.
I mean, we hope all of those are everyone's a good one, but obviously no wet weather as well, so that's going to make it.
So that's good. I think Marcel is going to try and take the lead as quickly as he can. Of course, but he'll have to hold that for 22 laps around here. And overtaking is going to be pretty crucial with these new regs, especially down the Kemmel Straight. There's going to be a lot more of it than previous years where the dirty air has been a bit of a problem, especially in F1 24. I found it a bit of a problem. So,
yeah,
let's hope the action is fun but not too chaotic, as I have seen in a few races doing PlayStation before. As you may remember me, I did the PlayStation as well, but I'm in the process of moving to the PC, so sorry guys.
That's right. We are happy to have you here, as we should be getting going any moment now. So for the first time around Spa with these cars, how will these drivers do? Obviously, we have all the history of the drivers with these cars based on previous seasons. However, new regulations, new engines, new cars. It is going to be pretty much setting history here today. Obviously, the first time in PSGL we race around Spa with these 26 regulations. Who will be the first one in PCF4 to win it? We shall see within the next 22 laps. However, we could be getting going any moment now. Would you like to give us away with lights out?
A wave?
Sorry? Yeah, would you like to give the lights out away for us, or shall I take it for you?
Oh, right. I thought you mean me gonna wave when the lights do go out.
Oh, here we go.
I'll go for it. Here we go. We've got 5 lights ahead of our drivers. And it's lights out and away we go. We have a very short run down to La Source. Adrian Andrusov and and Marcel Paps are going side by side into the first corner and collided already, and there's a big collision behind them. That is a Red Bull of Lucas, who's just gone round, but it looks like Marcel Pat's going to try and take the lead from Andrusov, but he can't do it. Andrusov's still in the lead, but he's going to try again. Here they come down the stretch, and Marcel Pat's has got the outside, and so has Neil Steins, Thomas Lamnan and Kaminsky also battling. It's going to be a huge battle into the corner. Look at this, 2x2 into the corner, and Marcel Pat's going to try and take it, and he has. Marcel Pat into the lead. Lamas and Steins have changed positions as well as Lamnan and Kaminsky, but it's Marcel Pat's in the lead, and now Alex Lamas is going to take second place from Andrusov. Neil Steins as well in there still. Kaminsky's going down further more places. What's happening there?
Yeah, indeed. It had a pretty rough start to this opening lap. Marcel Paps able to get the lead of this race. With that big collision, it's probably going to mess up the mindset of the drivers at the back. However, within the next few laps, that should be able to clear their head. However, for Denis Kaminsky, he is falling back from P4 down to P7, but is able to get it back to P6. Can he climb any more positions? Sat behind Adrian, who was on pole, but has also fallen short to his teammate and the other 3 drivers as well. So, what can he do to respond to what was a rough start? Obviously, Marcel leading this race by 3 tenths. Neo Steins in the Audi looking to try and make a move on Alex. Obviously, this part of the track right here and the Kemmel Straight are the best overtaking opportunities, as I think Denis Kaminsky has gone into the pits, I believe.
No, he's went wide.
Oh, he went wide, sorry.
Wide.
So
Very wide at La Source.
Even more trouble for Denis Kaminsky as he jumps back all the way down to P9. That allows Pascal, Gil, Michael and Mark to all get up a place. Got a first retirement of the day of the Haas. He comes into the pits probably after picking up damage coming into that first turn. So we head towards the overtake zone, and the Camel Straight. What can the Cadillac do? He goes alongside. Is he going to be late on the brakes to claim that P1 spot? He does so as he gets the Aston Martin gets a bit sandwiched from the 2 cars behind. Does well to defend, however, has lost a place to Alex and now sits P2.
Yeah, Alessandro Finn has made 10 positions. He's looking for an 11th here. He's fighting with the struggling Kaminsky going down the inside, but now we have the outside trying to take the position back, and they both went off the track. That is not what you want to be doing at No Name, and Alessandro Finn has lost all that progress, and it's only sending Kaminsky even further back. It's a race from hell for him. He's already down 10 positions, and now he could be losing one to Ken Fisher. But yeah, Finn is pegged back. Alex Lamass is now in the lead. He started in P5, and now he's into the lead, just 1.5 laps gone by. And Marcel and Neil are going to try everything they can to get that position back.
Yes, he will indeed. Obviously, with the amount of overtaking opportunities there are around this track, I imagine we'll see some yo-yo racing. However, it also depends on what happened in the moment. We could see 2 cars fight for each other, or we could see 2 cars work together to try and gain a bit of time from the cars behind as Marcel tries to look for a move. Pot backs out in the last minute as they come down to the line to turn 1, which I think is a pretty good place to try and make that, like, you know, an overtake where they wouldn't expect it, I'd say. Because obviously we have the Camel Straight and then straight up to the bus stop. Those are the 2 places where you expect people to be making overtakes. However, as we've got a few more cars retiring in the pits, we now come up to the Camel Straight where can Marcel get ahead? But for now, I think the Maiko is going to be making a move on Alexi Cavero, who sits P11.
Yep.
On board with him.
Yeah, he has. He's made the move.
As it is as Tom Wolfgram, he looks for a move, but just wasn't close enough coming to that corner right there. Marcel Paps getting real close to the back of Alex, just under half a tenth. Obviously, he got quite a few laps left to go. Obviously, they don't want to attack as much as they can and kill their tyres. Obviously, at some stage in the race, they will start to ease off. The gaps will start to form, and that's when, obviously, strategy will come into play, especially when it comes to the undercut and stuff like that. The Alpine driver, the name I cannot pronounce, so apologies for that. Hogan, if you're able to pronounce that for me, that could be great. If you know
Which one?
it. The Alpine in P4, yeah.
Thomas Laminen. Yeah,
Thomas.
He's still fighting with Neil Steins up ahead, 2 tenths, and he's got Pascal Gill in the Cadillac behind him. Could all change the positions when they get out of Blanchimont. Pabst is closing up on Lamass. He's going to try around the outside. He's got the superior battery deployment, and now into the outside, but that's going to give Lamass the inside in the first part, and he's going to take advantage of that, and he's going to keep the lead at the moment. And now he's stopped battling Neil Steins, heading across the line for lap 4, and it looks like Steins is going to have the inside at La Source, and he's going to try and nick the position off of Pabst, still going side by side. Down the stretch they come now towards Eau Rouge as Fade has given up in the pit lane. Now they're going to go side by side, and they might be coming out of that together again, and they clash going into Eau Rouge.
Yeah, as they did, we got some pretty close racing here, close and hard racing. As we come down to the straight, imagine we see some more moves. Marcel about to make a move on Alex. Can he get it done? Yes, he does. He get it done before the corner has even arrived. Retakes that P1 spot. Ryan Jacobs looking to make a move along the inside of the Aston Martin. They collide, and he has a bit of a half spin. The Aston Martin losing out worse. Tom Wolfgram drops down to P9, is now defending from Alexi Cavero, who just about gets through, or doesn't just about get through, sorry, stays P9 for now.
Yeah, that's a crazy battle in the mid-pack. There was like 7 cars going for 3 positions. It was quite a rapid, chaotic fight down towards Les Combes. And Orpel has left the session. Actually, no, sorry, he's out of the race, so that's not a problem. Side by side go Andrusov and Fisher. Andrusov started right at the front, but he's lost all his positions, and that's with Laminen and Pascal Gill fighting, and Gill has just snatched 4th place under Laminen's nose. And now he'll be trying to chase down Neil Steins for a podium spot, as Lamass is going to try and get, I want that position back, he says. But he's got to watch out, Neil Steins is there with him. This could be a send into the bus stop, but it's not going to be the bus fare home yet, because they are not going to be making any moves. But I tell you who is, That is Wolfgram and D'Amico going side by side, and it looks like the Ferrari's been pushed off the grass there. Not the grass, the rumble strip. He's going to get the inside, but he isn't going to chance a move. He's going to wait his turn, it looks like. Further battles behind, including Ekestra and Fisher. And the other McLaren of Alessandro Finn, who's fallen right to the back again, where he pretty much started.
Yes, he has indeed. Obviously, that collision with Denis Kamensky has cost him quite a bit. We'll see what he does later in the race to try and make a move. Pascal Gil looking for a move on Tomas. Looks to try and make a move for the inside, but then backs out. Macau in the Mercedes makes a move on Mark coming down to that corner right there. That was a great move from him. Claims P6 for now. What can Mark do to respond to try and reclaim that spot? We have him in P7 right now, just 2 tenths behind. Obviously won't be making a move in Sector 2 as it is mainly just corners and the part of the track where the recharging will be vital. Ryan Jacobs is now within that second of Mark, so he will be able to get that extra bit of boost throughout the lap. Obviously, if you're in a second, you have a boost mode which gives you a bit of extra power and recharge, I believe. I don't know if that's a part of the game, as I saw some contact towards the back. I think someone just got a bit of damage. Don't know who that was that fell short. I think that might have been the Williams down in P16 as he's fighting Ken Fisher and Alessandro Finn. Can he try and claim any places back? He's getting real close to the back of the McLaren. Obviously, with that toe, he should have the speed to try and overtake him before the bus stop chicane. Does he get it done? I don't think he will. Stays P16 for now as Alessandro Finn looks for a move on the inside. Can he get it done? Bumping side by side as they come out of the final corner. Again bumping as they come into the straight. But for now, it's looking like Alessandro Finn will be taking that place from him. As we come back towards the front, Pascal Gil and Macau going side by side as they come through El Rouge onto the Kemble Straight. Who will come out in that P5 spot by the end of it? It's looking like Marcel has that speed to try and overtake. 10th behind.
The lead is changed. Sorry, Alex Lamas has taken the lead back off Marcel Pats for the moment. Look at this lead battle, Ashton. 7 cars separated by about, is that 1.5 seconds collectively? It's nuts. It's something you barely see in the real F1. It's so dazzling to watch.
As we are starting to get 2 groups of the grid right now, obviously P1 down to P10, all fighting, and then Denis Kamensky leading that second pack on the grid, falling short by just 1.8 seconds. Hopefully he can find some time back to rejoin the main fight, as the Alpine driver tried to make a move on the Audi, didn't get it there just yet, as we now come to the exit of Sector 2. Probably the best part of the track to try and make an overtake, or will they? Do we think they won't make an overtake coming up to the bus stop as they want the overtake mode for the next lap? Or do we think they want the position and they'll just go for it?
Well, I cannot really answer that question because Marcel's just answered that for us. He's just made the move back past Alex Lamas. It looks like Alex Lamas is going to save it for the overtake. The overtake mode, that is, as he goes into the lead. Alex Lamas is stuck, and there's a battle here for, is that 8th place between D'Amico? There's a lot of battles going on at the same time. It's really hard to keep up with this. That's the 6th, 7th position, sorry, being fought for between Mark and Pascal, and it's going to carry on into Rouge and Radillon, and Mark has to back out and stay in 7th place. And now Alex Lamas is going to try and get all that position back with all that battery, but can he hold it? The answer is yes, he can. He's back in the lead again. So the lead keeps changing in this yo-yo of a race, and now the top 10 are pretty much separated by, is that 2 seconds? So it's first to 10 is 2 seconds, I think.
2.4 seconds from the leader is Ryan Jacobs, 2.5. So
Yeah,
it's getting there. It's going to be a very tight race, and we could see a potential undercut in the next few laps.
Yes, we could. By the way, the tyre choices, Mikhail Kuzella, the only one in the top 10 with, the only one in the top 7 with hards. The other 2 hard tyre runners in the top 10 are fighting amongst each other, D'Amico and Alexei Covero, and this is going to continue in the next corner, and D'Amico can't get the inside. and Cavero is going to be in 8th place for now. And the gap is actually extended at the top. It's now half a second between Alex and Marcel. Mikel is closing up to Laminin on those hard tyres because he's going to be going longer. He may be much better off with them in the later laps, as there's another move between Pascal and Cavero, and looks like we have someone pitting. Also battling is Mikel and Thomas Laminin, and the guy pitting looks like it's Mark off the V-Carb.
Yeah, indeed he is. As actually, speaking of those sort of groups that we had earlier, the people from outside of the top 10 has actually catched up to those front runners. So now the grid is even closer from P11 down to P1 is 3.8 seconds. So we could see quite a few more overtakes as Marcel Paps is looking to reclaim that top spot of Alex. Can he get it done? He does have the disadvantage of the outside line. However, it does turn to the inside line in 2 seconds.
He's lost the position. Marcel back in the lead. But he's not got it by much. It's only 2 tenths. He's going to have to hold it on for dear life.
Sorry about
And yes, what happened?
my mum walked into the room. But
Hi, Mum. Yes. So now what was first attempt is now looks like first 11th as Kazella sneaks in to 3rd place ahead of Neil Steins. That's not a very orthodox place to move, but looks like the Alpine was getting involved as well. He's lost a position. Uh-oh, this might be a dangerous spot to move, but it looks like Neil Steins has nicked the position back.
yes, he has indeed reclaims that podium spot. Obviously, the consistency that these drivers have been showing throughout these 8 laps are going to have to stick if they want to be at the very top when it comes to this race. So far, Alex and Marcel, those two are getting pretty close when it comes to firing up to the bus stop chicane. Imagine these two would definitely be at the top towards the end of the race, but these two are looking to be good rivals as everyone finally comes into the pits. The Maiko stays out alongside Mikel in the Mercedes. Oh, they're on the hard, so that's why they would be pitting. I think all the top 3 are currently on the hards. Yeah, the top 4 are all on the hards, sorry. Pascal Gil is in the middle of those hard runners, staying out on those medium tyres. Imagine he'll be pitting pretty soon. Now is the time to push for these hard runners to try and gain a gap to those people on the fresh tyres. So you've got some moves between Dennis Kamensky and Pascal Gil. Can Pascal Gil keep that P5 spot for now? I don't think he can. Dennis Kamensky just about stays ahead. They're still side by side. However, I think he's just fall back just a tiny bit and gets P6 for now. Got some more moves at the back. The drivers that had pitted.
Yeah, sorry, Ashton. Yeah, Mark has just come out, and he has come out amongst Neil Steins, who he just got passed by, but he's about 1.2 seconds down from Alex and Marcel, who were the leaders until they pitted. So it's all about when are the hard tyre runners going to pit? That is going to be the question, and we're only going to see in about a few laps' time, because of course the mediums only lasted 8 laps. You should expect the hards to go to the end here. So if you can do the maths, it's about 14-15 laps. But look up there, it's still very cloudy. Is there any rain on the horizon?
I mean, I wouldn't mind some rain or some dry conditions. That is a saying I like to do when it's coming dry to wet. I usually use the term dry. However, it is looking pretty grey out there. But obviously, will it be raining by the time we get to the end of the race? Obviously, the drivers hope not. But as a commentator, as a viewer, we kind of hope there is, don't we?
Yeah, we do, but it is already quite an enthralling race, as there is a battle at the back between Odinut and Pascal Finn. Pascal Gill is going to drop down the order out of his pit stop, and it looks like the current lead is not going to be changing. Mikel is still ahead of D'Amico. Interesting to see how they can challenge for the positions when they come into the pits. But yeah, it looks like that. I'm interested that Marcel and Alex pitted at the same time as That's Mark's gone off the track and he's got a penalty. He's caught the corner at Lecombe. I think he was involved in a battle with Neil Steins, and now it's all going chaotic here as Ryan Jacobs is going to try and go around outside of Mark. Connor's picked and he's going to get into the position at No Name, and that's not going to be good news for Mark, who is still trying to fight this, but he's got a 3-second penalty to boot. He is in trouble.
Yeah, obviously the only driver on a penalty so far. However, it could have been a bit of good luck for Neo and Tomas, as after that pit stop, they did fall short. Obviously, it's now at 2.1 seconds. Hopefully, they can try and climb that, gain that time back to catch up to our net leader of Marcel, as Alexi Cavero and Spezzi are fighting, coming down towards the bus stop chicane. Can he stay ahead for now? Spezzi does get ahead, and Dennis falls to Alexi falls to P4.
Yeah, Spezzi came out of nowhere there. And now he's going to be passed by Dennis Kaminsky, and there he is. Dennis Kaminsky going to take 4th place, or is he? They're side by side, but it's going to carry on, I think. He's going to back out though, so Dennis Kaminsky into P5, but it looks like he much has the better run out of Radion. He's going to try and get the move back, but I don't think he's going to have the energy to do it. In fact, it's going to be Kaminsky going to try and go to the inside of Spezzi, but he is unable to do so. So he will have to settle for a P4, and Cavero almost ran into the back of Kaminsky there. He'll have to stay where he is for now, as there's another battle happening between Ryan Jacobs, Mark, and Thomas Laminen, and it's led by Neil Steins. And this is for 10th, but you've got to remember, these are the guys that have pit. So just take this with a pinch of salt, of course, because the top 7 have yet to pit. At the moment, with the gaps as it stands, as Alexi's got ahead of Dennis, it looks like that Pabst and Alex are the leading 2 still.
Yeah, obviously Marcel Pabst is the net leader of the race, followed by Alex. However, these 6 drivers at the front, they could be giving each other sort of slingshots to try and gain some advantage over the cars ahead. However, I don't think it will be enough, because from P1 down to our net leader of Marcel Pabst is 14 seconds. So their undercut is pretty much worked already. Obviously, not really undercut, they're on alternative strategies, but they will be on the fresher tyres later on down the race. So if they have the pace for when the time comes, they might be able to try and get some positions back, as we do have our second penalty of the day. That's Adrian in the Alpine. He gets his first 3-second penalty.
Yeah, he was battling with Odino and Alessandro Finn at the back, and he went off Paul Frere and on Ballon Chimon, and he's coming into the pits now. I think this might be him throwing in the towel, because he's just had a pretty unfortunate race. He started at the lead, and he's pretty much gone backwards ever since, and that is the end of his race. And Spezzi is amongst this leading battle as they head through Lecombe. Didn't seem to be any changes there. Ken Fisher at the back of that. And there's another battle between Mark, Ryan Jacobs, Neil Steins. And once again, Mark going off the road. He's going to have to give those positions back, surely. Went completely off Lecombe. And now it looks like, oh, that is the Aston Martin of Tom Wolfgram getting a bit feisty with Ryan Jacobs, and this is going to head into No Name. Somehow both stay on the track, and now it's might carry into Huron, but they think better of it and they let it go.
Yeah, the 2 rivals from last season, obviously our championship winner and Tom Wolfgram, who I believe is the runner-up. You can correct me if I am wrong. They are fighting for positions right now. They are currently sat in a net P7 and 8, I think. We'll see when the drivers start to pit. Obviously, Spezzi chasing down Alexi Cavero. And speaking of the Hassan obviously having an unfortunate race, I'd like to take note to Dennis Kaminsky, who I think has also had a pretty unfortunate race, but has sort of climbed back in these past few laps. Obviously now up to P5, yet to pit. But I think he could still be up there for getting some pretty good points for the Mercedes team.
Yes, don't forget he is going to be finishing on the medium tyres. He can't do 2 hard runs, and it would be a stupid idea to anyway, because there'd be the slower strategy he has to do 2 different compounds during the race. It should be the mediums. The softs will not go to the end at this point. It will be the mediums when they get to it, and you'll have the quicker rubber against the hard tyre runners, which of course prioritize age over grip.
Yes.
Just to button again, Alex has just overtaken Marcel, and that's the net lead there, back for Alex Lamass. And I think Wolfram has fallen a few positions as well.
Yeah, as I also just noticed, Simone in the Williams drivers, I don't think he's pitted yet, but he's fallen back quite a bit, as the drivers that have pitted, Alex and Marcel, are already 1.2 seconds behind him, and I imagine they will be catching up before they even reach the bus stop chicane. So these 2 drivers, their pace has gone pretty well. As speaking of the gap that it was when all these drivers came out the pits, it was 2 seconds with Mark and Neo Steins when they come out the pits. However, because of all that fighting between Mark, Neo, Ryan and Tomas, they have now fallen back by 5.1 seconds, maybe a bit more. The likes of Neo, who was a P3 earlier in the race.
And D'Amico and Alexei have went for the undercut in for the hard tyre runners, and they'll be taking the medium runners to the very end of this race. That's 9 laps if you include this one, lap 14 of 22. We're almost 2/3 way through the race, as Alex Lamass has set the fastest lap of the race. Unfortunately, no point for the fastest lap. And let's see where D'Amico and Alexei Cavero come through as the pack come through, and look at all these cars coming. Mark leading that pack, and he gets in between the 2 pitters, and they're going to have cold tyres. They're going to have it really difficult, and they've got to be very careful as they go up the straight here. It looks like they've got it done fine, and there's going to be lots of battling here. Medium versus hard. Who's your money on?
My money is going to be on hards at this current time, as Marcel, Alex still fighting. Dennis Kaminsky gets ahead of his teammate to claim it P2. We've got some more moves between the back as well. Neo Steins and the Alpine, those guys going side by side as they come towards No Name, going a bit wide to try and overtake the Alpine. Wasn't able to just get it done there. However, as we reach the halfway mark of this race, still a lot of laps to go. However, who have I got my money on? I have no clue because of how close it is, especially between those 2 drivers of Marcel and Alex.
Pascal Gill's been pushed off by Neil Steins at Pouon. That was a bit naughty, but they keep it on track, so nothing too big of a problem there. So we only have 3 medium runners at the moment. That's going to increase to 7, I'm sure, because there's still the top 4 to come in. Lots of move happening, squabbling position, and they're all coming in, but no, Mikel Kazella is staying out. He thinks he can get on with much younger tyres.
And
so
not only that, sorry, but he would have had to stay out either way, as him and his teammate was, so they would have double stacked. I don't know if this is going to work out the way they hoped. Obviously, anything can happen in F1. However, I think Michael just might have a bit of a disadvantage coming towards the end of this race.
Yeah, so Mikel Kazella had to go out, and here come the cars. And that is Pascal Wehrlein and Wolfgram going side by side. They've got to be careful of the just exiting pit of Ken Fisher. But it looks like they've done that. Look at this huge train of cars. It's nuts. But this gives Marcel Pats and Alex Lamass a 3.6 second lead over Alexei Cavero, who's chasing in the mediums. Kazella still to pit is 9.5 seconds ahead of Pabst. Of course, he's yet to pit, so even though he is in first at the moment, he's not actually going to be in first, because if he were to go at the end of the race, he would be disqualified 1 lap before the race. He must use 2 compounds, yada yada yada. So he is going to have to pit soon. I imagine it'll be this lap. Kamensky gets past Laminen at Pouon. And also fighting is Ken Fisher and Neil Steins. That is Mark losing another position. He's got the penalty anyway, so Spezzi wouldn't really have gained the position. Mark could be losing another one to Ryan Jacobs, the reigning champion, next up. But yeah, now it's Alex and Marcel, 3 seconds ahead of the rest, but they've got to be mindful of Alexei and D'Amico chasing on those new mediums.
Yeah, indeed. Actually, I was going to cut onto that. Obviously, the net top 3 was Marcel, Alex, and also Neo Steins, but he's falling down to P12, and the hard runner, well, the driver that started on the hards, Alexi Cavero, is up to P4. And with those fresh tyres, he might be able to even maybe climb 1 or 2 positions, depending on how much time he can find to these top 2.
Zella is finally in the pits, and he's going to drop right down the order. I think he'll be coming out ahead of... Yeah, he's coming out ahead of Alessandro Finn. He has come out behind everyone who has already come into the pit. And there's the lead change again!
Yeah, it's Alex overtakes Marcel again. These two will be fighting back and forth. Or is it fighting, or is it working together to try and just gain time from the driver behind, as we got some more moves towards the back?
Sorry, that was Spezzi. He's went off at Lecom after a collision. No damage done, though, and he's now lost the position to Thomas Laminen. I think he may have to give him that back. And it's making the other Audi of Neil Steins impatient, because he's on the hard tyres here. He's at risk of being overtaken by Ken Fisher in the McLaren. Lots more squabbling happening behind. Is that 3 wide into Pouron?
I believe it is. Luckily, no drivers came out with any damage. However, Spezzi does claim one more position, climbs up to P8 and is now chasing down Mark, as we actually missed another penalty, which went to Denis Kamensky. I think we just got the fastest lap time update as he got that, but that is going to affect his finishing position after what I think was a pretty good comeback after a pretty rough few laps. We've got Mark chasing down Ryan Jacobs. He's right on his gearbox. Will he be looking to try and claim any places coming up to the bus stop? Doesn't go for it, stays P7 for now.
Lots more squabbling happening in the bus stop. Normally that's not what bus stops are meant for, but in Formula 1 it definitely is, as that was Pascal Gill going wide at the bus stop again, and that means he's lost another position. Now he's down in 13th place, he's 1 second down, as that is a move for D'Amico into third. These are the medium tyre runners squabbling amongst each other. To be honest, I wouldn't be doing that if you're chasing for the win. They need to chase down the hard tyre runners with Alex and Marcel. And it looks like it may change for Alexei coming in towards the Lecom, but it's not going to happen. D'Amico keeps the third place he's just acquired. And it seems like they're going to be chasing Marcel. They're 2.1 seconds down. Have they got enough time? Well, I tell you what, Spessi's got no time to lose. He's got ahead of Ryan Jacobs, and Ken Fisher and Thomas Laminen are still battling for 9th position.
Yeah, they are indeed. It's going to be a pretty intense few laps, especially for those drivers in the midfield. And also, I would say it's going to be a pretty nerve-wracking end to those top 2 drivers, as even though D'Amico and Alexi Cavero are fighting, they are catching, and they are catching pretty quick. 2.2 seconds is the gap, with not many laps left to go. Do we think they can do it?
Well, we'll have to see. It could be done. Tell you what has been done. Mikel Cazellas just jumped in the top 10 for a sneaky move on Thomas Laminen. Cavero has been passed by Kamensky. What a comeback for Kamensky, by the way. But what could this be in the lead? Is that a lead change? No, not quite. Kamensky has got up into third place with the younger medium tyres. He's now in prime position to catch Alex and Marcel.
Yeah, indeed. Hopefully he can, and also maybe use them to try and gain a gap to the cars behind, because even though he's going to finish in a pretty good spot on the grid, obviously penalties will always be placed. We don't always want a race to finish on penalties, especially when you have a comeback such as this. However, I think we might be able to see another move for the lead as Marcel Paps overtakes Alex for that lead once again, and Alexi Cavero overtakes D'Amico for that P1 spot. Spezzi as well climbs up to P6 after losing to Mark. Mark falling back just quite a bit. There's still, look at this midfield. The fights for those final few points are on. We've seen positions change left, right and centre as Tom Wolfgram overtakes Pascal Gill. Ken Fisher with an overtake as well. Ryan Jacobs, he loses a spot to Tomas in the Alpine. And now the fight is on for Ryan Jacobs for that final point position on the grid. If he's able to stay close enough to the back of Mark, he would definitely be up there to go and get some points. But speaking of someone that's getting up there, Denis Kamensky now within a second of those two runners. Can he help the drivers behind gain any more positions, or will he just about fall short? We shall see. To come towards the boost activation zone. Will he be close enough to get it? At this current time, I don't think he will be.
No, 1.2. I'll tell you what, who has been going up the order, Alexi Cavero. He started at the very back, and now he's in 4th. He could be challenging for a podium if he's able to get close enough. We have 4 laps to go now. Time is running out for Kamensky, but he's now within 1 second. He may be able to get the boost now. Providing he stays there, it goes out of it again, but if he notices how far behind he is, he can close up as soon as he can. There it is. He's basically borderline 1 second now. Exactly 1 second. Now he's under 1 second. I don't think he's going to be close enough because that is not where the activation point is, of course. So, yeah, he's getting very close to it. He can smell the engines of the top 2. He's right amongst them. It's basically a top 5 challenging for the win now. I think Kazella, despite his fantastic work in the past few laps, getting up the order alongside his teammate, I don't think he's going to be close enough to challenge for a podium position. It's going to be Marcel, Alex, Dennis, and perhaps Alexei DeMichael fighting for the win with 4 laps to go. And I think now they can feel it now, the top 2. Dennis is the menace, and he's on the course to take both of their positions and the win. Here we go then. 4 to go. Marcel Pabst, as his teammate has, by the way, the Aston Martin and the Cadillac are fighting amongst each other. The other Aston Martin and the other Cadillac are fighting for 13th and 14th.
Yeah, indeed. 2 ends of the grid. 2 teams fighting for position. Obviously, the top 2 are the ones that will be getting the points. However, it is getting pretty close now. Dennis Kamensky is about to make a move on the outside of Alex. Can he get it done? Can he get it to stick? Getting pushed a bit wide. However, he has that inside line, gets the move done, and makes an amazing overtake on Alex for P2. Can Alexei Cavera use this to his advantage? He might be just a bit too far back to try and use that. However, we could see a change for the lead coming up to the Kemmel Straight. Does Dennis Kamensky have the battery get past Marcel? Obviously, with this 3-second penalty, if he wins this race, he's definitely going to be very gutted picking it up, as what could have been a great race might come to abrupt end. However, Alex looking like he's about to overtake Dennis Kamensky. Not Dennis on the leader, but falls short just for now. Alexei Cavera losing just a bit of time. Just over a second, but just bounced it back to 9/10. Hopefully, he can keep that gap. However, it is looking good for Dennis to at least get some points, as his teammate is 2.2 seconds behind. Having to pit that lap later, I think that might have cost him a little, or it definitely did cost him a little bit. But imagine if those two were on different strategies. I think we could have saw a Mercedes 2-3 or double podium. However, their strategy didn't play out the way they want.
Yeah, he's 2.2 seconds behind. He's going to be out of reach. But Kamensky can smell it now. He's almost there on Marcel. He's going to nick a win from under his nose and take a 2nd win in a row. He won in China last week, of course. But there's still Alex Lamas to fend off. Alex is not going to give up. Whatever happens, he's just going to keep going for it. As Pabst is under pressure, is Alex going to try and take advantage of it both? Here we go to the bus stop. And it's going to be the inside for Kamensky. Is that a bump into Marcel? I think it was. And I think this might compromise Dennis as they come out of the bus stop. Alex is going to try and get a position. But now here comes Dennis on the inside of the source off Marcel Pat to take the lead. He goes the inside, but the switchback from Dennis, and they go sliding out of the source. Dennis takes the lead. And he's got a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, what would have been, I guess. However, that 3-second penalty would definitely cost him. However, we can't take away the fact that this has been an amazing race for him, as Marcel is less than a 10th behind. Is there going to be another double overtake for him? Yeah, maybe so. 3 wide coming into the corner here. The Aston Martin backs out just a bit, but Alex was brave on the brakes, gets ahead for now. And could we see a last lap winner here? Marcel needs to do a bit more work if he wants to try and claim that top spot. Just backing out in the last moments Obviously, you want to keep in the race, but Alex showing his bravery and getting up to that top spot for now. That allows Alexei Cavero of all this fighting to be in the charge for a podium as well.
Yes, Alexei now a very interested observer. He could sense that he could get a podium here now. And Mikhail Kuzella has fallen back. I think his magic has worn off. He's lost positions to Demichael Spessy and Ken Fisher. They might as well get interested too. They're not going to close up in time, I fear. But if there is a clash at the top three, one of them could get the podium instead. But it is the top three. Alex Lamas going from third to first down the Kemmel Straight. What a bold move. But here's Dennis. He's had no right to... Well, he's got a 3-second penalty. He decided to break when he got to Alex Lamas. He's basically holding him up. And now it's going to be... Is that 2x2 into the bus stop? It looked like it. And now Alexei's trying to find a way through, but he's unable to. We're about to begin the final lap. The positions stay as they are. Kamensky with the penalty. I don't think he's able to win this race. When did he get that penalty? I'm not too sure.
I'm not sure. I know we didn't see it because a fastest lap notification came up. However, you know, anything could have caused those penalties. If he gets it removed, then I guess he might be able to get the win. However, for now, it's not looking likely. Is he going to re-overtake Alex for the lead? Is Aston Martin going to re-overtake for the lead as well? Will they go through wide? Coming into that corner again, Dennis Kaminsky gets ahead before the corner is even there. Claims that P1 spot. Marcel, wasn't able to get to P2 for now. However, he is a net P2 with that penalty. Alexei Cavero, on those fresher tyres, he hasn't seemed to be making any moves yet. We know he's got the tyre advantage and the pace to try and overtake these two drivers. It's all about just trying to find that opening. However, with these three cars and how hard they're fighting, it'll be pretty tough.
So here they come, round Puon for the very last time tonight. Dennis Kaminsky has done very well to get back to the top. But there's Alex Cavero! Is that Oh, he's collided with Marcel Paps. That might be the... well, he will get a podium if Demis gets his penalty. But it doesn't look like he's going to get second or first. He tried to get second under Marcel Paps at the corner, but he was unable to. He may have to just settle for it, but he's now fading away. He's got to be within 3 seconds of Dennis, just in case that penalty doesn't get removed. I don't think it is. Dennis Kaminsky is going to lead them, or is he? Alex Lamas is going to get past at the end. Oh, what's this? That's Marcel Paps going to try and take the position, and he's unable to, and that's going to let Alex Lamas going to take the win here at Spa.
Yeah, he is. He wins, followed by Marcel Paps, who probably lost the race coming into the Kemmel Straight with that late braking or early braking. Alexei Cavero just about takes P3 with Dennis' penalty. However, P5 is good enough based on how the start of his race went. DeMarco P4, Dennis Coates obviously P5. His teammate P6 after having to go an extra lap to avoid the double stack, and then Spezzi in P7. However, those final few laps, they definitely got me on my toes. I don't know about you, but the amount of changes that we had throughout those laps, anyone could have won it, but Alex was the one to get it in the end.
Yes, it is. So there's your podium. Alex Lamas takes the win here at Spa, denying Marcel after they battled all race long. And what about Alexei Cavero going from last to the podium? That might be drive of the day for me. Persevered and got paid off in spades.
Yeah, he did. Which,
fantastic race.
This race has been very great. I definitely enjoyed it. One of my favorite tracks due to the fact that there's just so much racing. And we will try to get the drivers for some interviews. We shall obviously just ask them if that's what they would like to do. However, let's just find out. We go to the interview stage.
By the way, I should mention Neil Steins lost out to Thomas Laminen for the last point by 900ths of a second. Across the line almost simultaneously together.
As we shall start off, let's just hope all three of them join. 2 so far are in the interview rating room. Should we start from P3 and then work our way up?
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm just gonna try and Yeah, well, let's start with Alexei. He went from back to first,
Yeah.
last to first.
Hello there. We are joined by our P3 of the last podium spot, Alexei Guerrero. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. I'm amazing after that race.
Yeah.
It's pretty good race starting at the very back and getting up to P3, especially starting on the alternative strategy. It just worked out the way you planned. In your words, how would you sum up that race?
Right now, there's not a lot of words since I honestly don't know what happened at the front for that to even be possible. But yeah, I just tried to keep my nose clean ever since the start. It was a big crash in turn 1, as you guys probably saw that in the comms box as well. But yeah, I managed to. I think I gained 8 positions just from turn 1 alone, and those crashes and everyone getting stuck. So that worked in my favor. And then yeah, I just tried to do a clean race and keep up a good pace, especially on the hard, to give myself an opportunity on the medium stint. And then when I came out of the box, I noticed that I'm in front of basically everyone, even the medium hard guys. So yeah, just locked in ever since that, and I guess I made it worth it.
Yeah, it's very good in the end. Obviously, P3 is good, but towards the end, there was a bit of a moment that might have cost you P2.
Yeah, I'm not sure about costing. I just noticed that the guys were deploying in front of me a lot, and then I was basically full battery, so I just thought might as well try it on the exit of Puon, because that's where we are saving, at least on a normal lap. So I just tried to go for the move, and we had a little bit of a contact. I don't know if it was his fault or my fault or what happened. I need to still look at it afterwards, but yeah, I mean, you don't gain positions if you don't go for the move, so tried my luck there.
Well, that is a very good race from you, starting from almost at the back to the podium. Best of luck for next week, and congratulations on that P3 spot. We shall see you another time. Hopefully, get a podium next week. Not next week. Sorry, in 2 weeks.
Sorry, Ashton. Can I just jump in? I had a question.
Go on, sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Go on.
So qualifying, of course, starting the back was disappointing. But before we went lights out, what was your game plan?
Not get damage in turn 1, because Spa turn 1, as we have seen in real life and especially on the game, it's always very, very chaotic, which especially the guys starting from the back, they're trying to be heroes, make up as many positions as they can. They end up causing an incident and the race is over. So I just tried to, keep myself alive, at least through the first few laps, because that's where most of the carnage usually tends to happen. So yeah, I succeeded in that, and here we are on the podium.
Well, excellent job. To go from last to finishing the podium, it's a pretty tough thing to pull off. So you should be very proud of your achievement tonight, and hopefully you can carry it on into the rest of the season. You get a break next week. How good is that?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I already had a break last week, considering I'm a reserve, and I was in Hungary for a week. I got home last night, so there was not much time to practice, and that was very noticeable in the quali pace. So another break is fine. I can do something else. It's summer and all that, so yes, it's enjoyable.
Well done.
Well done for you. We shall see you in 2 weeks for Madrid, obviously, if you do get a seat being a reserve. But until then, we shall see you, and congratulations on the podium.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. See ya.
See ya.
Welcome.
Next up, we have Marcel in P2 as he now joins us. Hello, Marcel. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Just sum up the race for us, because you and Alex, from pretty much lap 1 to lap 22, were fighting till the end. In your own words, how would you sum up that race?
It was. I mean, the race was pretty okay from me. The target was to get into P1 as soon as I saw the hard runners in some cars. So the target was to get to P1 and get someone at least from the other medium runners to get to P2, so that we can form a train and just go on with the pace. Otherwise, alone, I wouldn't have that much of a gap to the hard medium runners, and the race would have been much more difficult. But I think the pace was pretty good in the middle stint, and yeah, at the end, it was just a matter of placing your car right, having the right battery, and yeah, the two guys ahead of me did it a bit better. Probably because they had a bit more top speed as well. But yeah, was a nice race with nice fights, and yeah,
Yeah, it's
very nice.
congratulations on the P2. Obviously, Logan, you have any questions?
Yeah, Dennis Kaminsky, of course, had a penalty, and of course, battling with Alex, and of course, with a rogue penalty holder in the midst of that. What was your strategy trying to fight with that in the way?
I mean, as soon as I saw the penalty on Dennis, I highly knew that it's gonna be removed, so I tried to fight as hard as possible. Yeah, and I tried to move on the last lap into the chicane, but I had to slow down way too much, and yeah, didn't have any grip on the exit. So you could still be a P2, but yeah, this P3 is still fine. The race pace wasn't optimal, otherwise it would have been maybe a win. But yeah, besides the race, qualifying pace was pretty good, and I already typed it in the chat. It's a big karma for the guys who abuse slipstream, like you saw in those times. So yeah, next track is Madrid, so it's gonna be a little bit less slipstreaming.
Yes, of course, it's Madrid next, which will be fun to watch. The track we have never been to, a new track. That I like that Curva Monumental. It's so much fun to drive in the game. So I can't wait to see that in action. It will be interesting to see how everyone, a newcomer, will take it on. But yes, great job for you, Marcel. I appreciate that you kept racing despite the penalty being there. Of course, we all know the penalties can easily be removed in the post-race scrutiny. So well done on that, and putting on a show for us as well. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, thank you very much, and yeah, have a good evening.
All right,
You
you too. Right, as we now finish the interview, I don't think the race winner was available to have any interviews. However, from there, we would just like to sign off. It's been Ash and a Brit, me. Sorry for the start of my microphone. You can clearly hear me now. It's been a great commentating with you, Logan. Hopefully, we get to do the same next week if that's what happens. Oh, not next week. Sorry, I keep saying next week. Next week's a break week, so enjoy your break, and we shall see you back in 2 weeks for, like Logan said, Madrid, which is obviously, it's a new track. Nice to see how the drivers can do around there. Looking at the calendar, we can just get to it. That will be on the 6th. No, that'll be on the 13th and the 17th of August. So we got quite a bit of a break. However, until then, enjoy the time off, especially if any of you are drivers. But that will be it for us on the stream. Logan, would you like to say anything just before we cut out of the stream?
Yes, enjoy your break week, folks. Probably need it. I think the first day of the first day of the football season next week. I know there's European football, and so you don't have to miss that, which will be great. So, but yeah, I am. Well, I'm not really looking forward to having no commentary next week, but well, the Monday I might do it, but it looks like we're gonna have a full house, so I think I'll take the week off very nicely, and I hope you do too.
Right. Well, that will be it from us today. We shall see you back in 2 weeks if it is us commentating. Until then, have a nice night and a nice break week. See ya.
See ya.